Welcome back to another round at Sweet Shots, but we're not really at Sweet Shots. We're at the PGA Show in Orlando, Florida. We've got quite the lineup for you guys. This episode, though, we've got a special guest, real special guest. He took some time out of his day. Mr. Ryan French, thanks for being here. I guess it's French, right?
Yeah,
it's
perfect.
Okay, I got it right.
You guys are on fire.
I don't know if more people are going to know you by your Twitter X handle
that
or
part is true.
Yeah, so Ryan French, also known as a case of the golf or Mr. Monday Q Info. So big get here, Ryan. Again, thanks for being on the show.
It is a big get.
It's a big get.
These people are going to be super disappointed. But if this is a big get, this is downhill from here, kids.
Should I tell you my number one?
Yeah,
my number
sure.
one, Chichi Rodriguez.
You got him?
I was hoping to.
Oh, probably tough now.
This is a close second.
Well, he's living, isn't he?
I don't know.
No, he is. I've seen him on the show for multiple years.
Okay.
So,
I don't have a connection to Chi-Chi, guys. Sorry.
but no, this is how it happens at the PGA Show. This is the place where everybody meets and greets.
Yeah.
And we happened to see that you were going to be at Dunning today.
Yes.
At Dunning Clothing.
Shout out Dunning.
Yep, absolutely.
Shout out
Now with Dunning's right there. No pressure for us to say that, but they make absolutely great stuff.
True.
You're wearing it.
True.
We'll get into that in a little bit. But we're like, well, let's just go talk to him. Let's just go see if he's approachable. He might be so busy. Stacey Lewis was there too. It's like let's just see. And that's how this unfolded. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here, guys.
So for the people at home that might not know, might not follow deeply along, give a little bio, because I, for one, I'm real excited that you're here. Mark's excited you're here. But for those listening, little bio on yourself.
Yeah. Been a golf nerd all my life. Started a Twitter account 7 years ago when my son had brain surgery, and no expectations. Never thought it would be anything, and somehow I'm here.
Just like that.
It's crazy. And Lisa Cronwell and Sarah Kemp, that right there is an LPGA player that just went by. I know them well. I'm going to text them as we go. This is, you said, Let It Fly.
Let It Fly. This is
like,
right
that's Lisa Cronwell, who does from Golf Channel and the PGA, and her wife, Sarah Kemp, who plays on the LPGA Tour.
That's the PGA Show, though.
That's the PGA Show.
You've done a brief stint caddying on the LPGA, right?
Yeah.
Not only this Twitter account, but you caddied as well.
Yeah, I mean, the Twitter account has brought amazing opportunities. It's been the craziest 7 years of my life. And
it primarily focuses on and why your Monday Q Info. It's the lesser known tours, lesser known tournaments of guys that are trying to make it. They're trying to make a living, grinding out the golf lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, I say all the time, guys, is I cover everything below the PGA Tour. I still talk about the PGA Tour, but guys you don't see on TV every day is kind of my beat. And I've said often is no one is stupid enough to try to do this full time, so I'm the only one who does it. And if you want that information right now, there's only one place to do it. So super lucky. It's been the craziest of rides. It is never. I don't have a journalism background. Don't have anything.
That's what I was going to ask. I mean, did you prepare yourself traditionally for a life?
I have a hospitality business degree. Ran a group of restaurants. I've just always loved golf. Started a Twitter account, and somehow it's here. When I tell this story, it's really kind of mind blowing to think about the things that I've done in my last 7 years with this account. Just zero intention. I cannot tell you that I never thought anything would come of it. I didn't intend. That's not why I started it. So it's been a crazy ride.
And you feel like you're probably not going to, do too much breaking on here, but to kind of toot your home for you, like you've been reposted by, all of the major accounts when it pertains to golf, be it the PGA Tour, be it a lot of the influencers that are out there. I mean, it's well known in the golf sphere of what you're doing. But I think, like you said, there's not many people that are willing to put themselves out there, travel coast to coast for everything below the PGA Tour. But that's what makes it so great. I mean, the effort and the wholeheartedness, I feel like the sincerity in it is what makes it so great and why I enjoy following so much. There's so many great stories below the PGA Tour, and the fact that you're covering it is great.
Yeah, I mean, thank you guys. I'm super lucky, and I very much appreciate that I can tell these stories. I appreciate the players. Travis Bryant, you might have him on later today, but like Army veteran plays golf. I mean, there's a million stories out there, and with the place pro golf is right now, I think the stories that I tell are more important. Pro golf's pretty gross right now. I think a lot of us fans are pretty fed up with pro golf and the millions and millions and millions of dollars being thrown at top players. I have no problem with them doing it. It just feels kind of gross right now.
Yeah.
And so
it's like, I know Mark and I talked before the show. I mean, the real stories I feel like for fans are the guys that work their way up through the ranks, and this Monday qualifier or this cut is a life changer rather than another $10 million in the pockets of your top guys on there. You know, that story, that number figure that they're winning shouldn't be the bottom line story.
Yeah. I mean, they're at a PGA Tour event, Korn Ferry event, mini tour event. There's a million things going on that are never shown on TV, right? Top 10 in a PGA Tour event gets you into the next week. Might be a medical exemption that a guy has to earn a certain amount of points to keep his card, and he's 40th and he needs to be 35th or whatever. There's a million things happening, and so and I always say is those things are probably more career changing or life changing than the win. Often, Rory winning the Wells Fargo means nothing to him. While a guy who, finishes 10th and gets his card because of that, it's literally life-changing.
Yeah.
Travis will tell you, any mini tour player would tell you, spend tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars to play this game. And I say it often, I'm not asking you to feel sorry for these guys. They play golf and they've chosen this life, so I'm not asking anybody to feel sorry for them, just giving a reality of what pro golf looks like for 90% of pros out there.
Yeah, arguably more
Yes.
than that, right? I mean,
Sure.
there's such a small percentage that, like the Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, go right out of college into professional golf and be
Correct.
successful.
Yes.
And I think some of the tie to Fargo, North Dakota is
The Dakotas too.
the Dakotas Tour,
Yes.
which you happen to repost a story for the North Dakota Open and a nice post about that. But I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head. These mini tours, these entry-level tours for these guys to work kind of hone their craft and work their way up. I mean, it's kind of a dying business now. I mean, there's just not a lot left in there.
Yeah, I mean, the popularity of golf has really killed mini tour golf, unfortunately. It's really made, mini tour events used to fill a need for golf courses, and that is not the case anymore. And so, mini tour golf is in trouble. It makes it harder for guys, girls to make a living outside of the PGA Tour, unfortunately. And so, it's just pro golf is outside of the PGA Tour is a pretty tough spot right now.
Yeah.
We saw on the Dakotas Tour, our site was the last site, the North Dakota Bobcat North Dakota Open, 60th anniversary event held at Fargo Country Club for 60 years. And we got a phone call 2 days after the event telling us Fargo Country Club is no longer going to host the event. Couldn't justify that to their members. And that has been going on throughout the country. We just live in our little bubble and thought we were protected against those things happening. But the Dakotas Tour, as successful as it's been for its lifespan, it also is struggling a little bit. For the first time in many, many years, they had trouble filling some events. The golf courses are asking more money for us to have our events. We're going to find a home. We're going to be at, I don't know. We're 99%. I can't.
Uh-oh.
I will say
He
this to
almost
our
broke
listeners.
news and then he didn't.
I did. Well, I can't till it's signed, right? But
Yeah.
we will have a home.
Okay.
The Bobcat North Dakota Open. I should probably make sure Bobcat's okay with it before I announce it. But no, Bobcat's on board. We will have a home for this year's the 61st, and it's going to be in the Fargo area. So we're super happy about that. But to your point, the mini tours. That world has changed. The PGA Tour is creating this situation where it's almost, it'd never be the Champions Tour. Like, this is so hard to get on, but they're creating that type of protective bubble for those guys that have made it. I don't know, if you're a young person coming out of school, you have that dream and have the reality to think that you're going to make it.
Yeah, it's always been .001. Now it's .0001.
Right.
Yeah, and the sad part, guys, for me as a fan, I'm old school. Is just like the best players made it back in the day. They don't need protections. Tiger, Billy Horschel's a great example. Billy, wants to make the tour smaller. Billy went to Q school 5 times, kept his card at 140th on the money list, and now he wants to make it smaller.
Yep.
So it's just like, again, I've always loved that golf has been the most democratic sport in the world. There's a million things leading up to the first stage of Q school that aren't equal, but the All-American from Alabama and the Division II player from Wyoming, when they teed it up at first stage, they were equals.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not the case anymore. PGA Tour you get to skip stages. There's just a lot of protections, and we're getting further and further away from golf being what it was. It's just shoot the score. Again, no one can tell you don't hit it far enough, or you don't, work it the right way. You don't putt good enough. You don't chip good enough. No one's in control up to this point in golf of your own destiny besides you. And unfortunately, we're getting further away from that. There's plenty of guys who could play in the NBA or play in the NFL that, draft gurus or whatever told them they weren't tall enough or wide enough, fast enough, whatever. They never got a shot. In golf, that isn't the case. Unfortunately, we're getting too far away from that, in my opinion.
Yep.
So I've got a link, if I can, Lucas, back to the North Dakota Open.
Sure.
Alistair Doherty,
Yeah,
his story this year.
I just played golf with Alistair.
Oh, you did?
In the Bahamas, yeah.
Fantastic young man.
Yeah.
I've had dinner with him a couple times. He stayed with the host family when he played in the North Dakota Open. And, how about the ride he had this year?
Yeah, missed his card twice by one stroke.
One shot, yeah.
But Alistair played well today in the final round of the Bahamas. He'll be good. Yeah, Alistair's a very good dude. I'll tell a quick story about Alistair. He had conditional status maybe 4 years ago on the Korn Ferry Tour. Sent me a message. He was going to a Monday qualifier for the Korn Ferry Tour, and he was out of money. He was going to sleep in his car. So I put out a tweet, and I found him a hotel. And then a follower of mine who's been amazingly generous sent me a message and asked if Alistair was a good dude. I said yes, and that gentleman sent Alistair $15,000 to keep his career going.
Wow.
And that's part of the reason. Obviously, Alistair played great, so he's the big reason he's still going. But people like that have kept Alistair and other players' careers going in their lives. So, yeah, those are the stories I want to tell.
Yeah, and that's great, and that's part of the reason. I think that's just some of the draw. There's more stories out there like that, like you alluded to. It's not necessarily he's not the only one that's been through that. There's other people helping him along, and there's other people that are trying to make it, and unfortunately it doesn't work out. But that's kind of the gritty road of golf right now.
And that's what I say this all the time, guys. Is I go to a Monday. A great example is I was in the Bahamas, and Hank Liebida won, and I didn't. Not that I don't care about talking to Hank, but John Vanderlyn, who's played 120 events on Korn Ferry Tour and never won, had a 4-shot lead when he went to the back nine, and he shot 77 and lost. I wanted to talk to him because that's the reality of golf too.
Yeah.
And so I had a great interview with him and his wife. Tears were shed, but that's pro golf too. There's plenty of guys who've never made it, and that's why the ones that do make it are that more special, because
they go through it.
For every one of guys that make it, there's 1,000 or 10,000 that don't.
Yeah, exactly. So here's my question to you. We're going to wave our magic wand. I'm going to make you a PGA commissioner for a day.
Yes.
What are the changes you're going to make? And I maybe you haven't even thought of it, Ryan. I don't know.
No, I have. I mean, I understand tweaks needed to be made. But the PGA Tour existed with full fields for 70 years, 80 years, and suddenly it didn't work. I guess in this environment, I would have signature events, if that's still a thing. In my world, we just go back to normal things. But if signature events, make it 120 players or 100 players, and give guys a chance. That's the biggest issue that I have. Like, you want to make less cards. I don't agree with it. But once you get on the PGA Tour, there's still another level. You're still in like B class, and that has never been the case. And it's almost impossible to get into the A class.
Right.
So you've played great. You've earned your PGA Tour card, and now you got to play great again to even stay around. And you got to play exceptional to get into the A class. And so, yeah, I mean, I haven't thought of it totally. You just got to have a way that the signature events are not as heavily weighted as they are, because it just protects the top players.
It is, and it's, you know, on the flip side, I mean, a guy that's really grinded out and actually is from Fargo is Tom Hoagie.
Yep.
And he did the whole deal. I mean, he went through the Dakotas Tour. He did Q School. He lost his card a couple times, but he's worked his way up from that B class to the A class. But that's what he's playing for now every year is
maintain.
Get back into that A class, get back into the elevated events.
But I think if you talk to Tom, I don't know. I know Tom, but I haven't asked him this specific question, but I would hope that he would say that he would want signature events to be bigger than they are. Because
I would
again,
agree.
it's my biggest frustration with all of these changes is players who have been in Tom's position or Billy Horschel's position or Max Homa's position, pulling up the ladder behind him. And that's the unfortunate part is players, it's a selfish sport, right? Like, this is a very selfish sport.
Yeah.
So I get some of it, but you just kind of forget where you came from, and that sucks.
Yeah, I agree.
For the record, we had Tom on the show.
Uh-oh.
And what happened the week after he was on the show?
He won?
Following week, he won.
He won.
He won Pebble
Oh,
Beach.
yeah.
So we
What
had
can
a
I win?
perfect. We had well, you know, you play in your hometown, right? You
Yeah.
still play
well,
in
it's 22 below there. So we're
You're a
probably not
Michigan
playing.
guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked
Northern
about that.
Michigan. Yeah.
Northern Michigan. That's
So you get
we're,
us.
We're Fargo, so we're same.
You guys are big time. There's a Golf Channel camera there.
Oh, there you go. I feel a little better now.
Okay, Commissioner, you asked that question. I was just going to ask a question about what is the future of these Monday qualifiers? What do you see happening? I know what they've
they've cut
proposing.
anything in the spring. They've reduced the other ones to 2. Fall still has 4. I mean, it's super unfortunate. And this week is a great example. Blades Brown, who the PGA Tour is super high on. Understand, great. He's a young guy, a super good dude. Like
high
Blades,
school to PGA Tour, or like that's the
yes. And
level.
the PGA Tour is super high on him. He had an exemption the previous week. They did a ton of social media around him. Like they are in on Blades.
Right.
And he's a great kid, like really great. And you can only get so many exemptions in a year. So he went to the Monday at Farmers, and he was in a playoff. Now he ended up missing. But that's what they miss out on. That's the reason for Mondays is to have young guys, veterans, no-namers have a chance. If he had gotten in, that benefits the tour. It's a young guy, super well-spoken, great for social media, great for the tour, someone they're trying to promote. He would have got an extra start. It's unfortunate. So, basically going away for the most part. I don't think that these changes are the end of changes. I'm going to assume Mondays will eventually go away. I assume, unfortunately, the PGA Tour will probably be signature events only, and then there'll be a B level of
play your
the
way
PGA
onto.
Tour. Yeah. I mean, seems to be where it's headed.
Yep. Yeah. So to turn the corner a little bit, because you've done a lot of like feel good stories, obviously, of people
Sure.
making it, but also like the most recent one of the two brothers.
Yeah.
Where the one he just got diagnosed with cancer. He's usually a caddy. He's not there. Do you have a favorite story in these 7 years, a favorite story that stands out to you where you're like, you know what, maybe it didn't go quote unquote viral, but that was the one to you that's your favorite?
That's a really good question. Let me think. I mean,
You gave him a stumper.
It's so hard.
7 years. I mean, it's 7 years.
It's
so
so
I'm not
hard.
expecting a quick one.
Yeah,
but
I mean, all the viral ones are insane ones. Daniela Icabelli. Danielle is probably one of my favorite golfers. She doesn't smoke anymore, which is great, but unfortunate for me because I love smokers are a dying breed. I don't smoke. Never had a cigarette in my life, unironically, but so Danielle is like a cusser, drinks, used to, smokes, and just says what she wants. That's all I want as a person who covers the media. But Danielle has a girlfriend who was very ill, and the financial reality of many tour players is that you can't really take weeks off. So she wanted to be at the hospital. Instead, she was at an Epson Tour event, and she won it and paid her girlfriend's medical bills. And yeah, that's probably my favorite because Danielle has been super good to me for a long time. So so many. I'm so lucky. You brought up Jeremy Wu and Dylan Wu. I'm super lucky that these guys trust me, and girls trust me to tell some of their most intimate stories, right? Like Jeremy's 27 years old, he has cancer. He's going to be okay, it seems, but it's
scary stuff.
To be vulnerable and talk about feeling like shit. See, there's my first swear word.
You caught it real quick, though.
Sorry.
No, anything my mother says and his grandmother says is not a swear word.
Okay.
So you're good.
And so, it's and I can speak this from experience because I share a lot of my own personal life. It's hard to be vulnerable, right? And so to be able to earn these guys and girls, these players' trust to tell their stories I'm very honored.
Yeah, that is, there's a lot out there. A lot of it I can't imagine what is going unreported that's still happening.
Ooh.
Stuff that
there are
doesn't
some
get
stories
shared.
I would love to tell, but I can't get them on the record. I really would. It's true.
Good. No, I tell you, and I think that's what works, right? You're not only not following the top. It's easy to follow the top, relatively speaking. You're following those that are in the Q school, in the struggle bus.
Yeah.
And you're telling stories that aren't necessarily the story that is always told. And I think that combination it's why you have the following you have. I mean,
Thank you, guys.
Definitely struck something that's really unique and needed. So congrats.
I'm very lucky. Thank you.
I'm going to flip it one more time.
Sure.
Just this being like my last thing.
Then we
here,
got to do. Then he's got to pick his team
Okay,
for
go
charity.
ahead.
So
All right.
one last thing, because you spent some time with Mr. Phil Mickelson for
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Tell me, what was that like getting to know Phil? Because I know since Liv's kind of came on the scene, I don't know, pre-Liv, he was definitely a good golfer. I don't know what people thought of him as a person, but post-Liv, there was definitely a divide there. But getting to spend time with Phil Mickelson, the person and the golfer,
Yeah.
what was that like?
Complicated. I mean, Phil is a complicated figure in golf, and obviously for what I cover, complicated. He, was a big advocate of breaking up the tour and those kind of things. So complicated, but they can be separate. You can disagree with him on there, and understand that he's been amazing to a very good friend of mine, business partner Mark Baldwin.
Yeah,
amazingly kind, and we have not shared 1/10 of what he's done for Mark, and let me play 36 holes with him and gave me a chipping lesson. And yeah, there's so many things that are very amazingly surreal that have happened in this since I started this account. The fact that I played golf with Phil Mickelson, just saying it out loud is insane. So yeah. Phil's I think there's two sides to a lot of people. Phil has he can be complicated, but he's been amazingly kind. He's done a lot of stuff that has gone unreported.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean he's not complicated in the game of golf.
Yeah. So that chipping lesson with him, I mean, did you need to just sit and kind of decipher it a little bit? Like, was he throwing it? Or is he
he walked up. He said, "Let's hit." He used some profane language. I promised I wouldn't say, and said, "We're gonna play. You're on my team today. They gamble for real dollars, and we got to figure out this chipping." That was what he said. A minute after I met Phil Mickelson, I was sculling and chunking chips. It's one of the most embarrassing, nerve-wracking moments of my life.
That I don't care who you are. I feel like that would be nervous for a lot of people. That's
so bad.
I
But
got
he did
sweaty
help.
palms thinking about
Oh, my
chipping in
God.
front of Phil Mickelson.
It was not great.
I
I mean,
promised
it was
chipping.
great, but it wasn't great.
yeah, right. One of those experiences.
Yeah.
So, all right, Mark. I know you got.
This won't take long.
Okay, fire.
Okay, we win money on this.
Sure.
This is going to junior golf. Are you good with that?
Yeah, you I have a foundation that helps high school
Okay.
teams in need, so I can go there.
Perfect. I'm going to give you 2 names. All you got to do is give me which one.
Sure.
This is tomorrow's round only. So this is
Got it.
we're going to find out the results of this tomorrow.
Got it. Great.
Okay. Oberg Matsuyama. Who do you like tomorrow?
Who?
Oberg
Yeah.
Matsuyama.
Oberg.
That's a good pick. I like that one. I'm
Finau Thigala.
Thigala.
Good hands. This is Torrey Pines. You gotta have
Yeah.
good hands
Yeah.
around Torrey Pines.
Yep. Spahn or Hubbard?
Mark. I love Mark. He has a mini tour legend named Matt Picanso on his bag. Matt's a really good story.
Luke List, Harris English.
Harris. Oh, jeez. Harris English.
I gotta imagine they're just gonna get tougher as you run out of money,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Let's go Matt Wallace or Johnny Vegas.
I mean, I'm not a big Matt Wallace fan, but he's probably the answer. Matt Wallace or Johnny Vegas? Torrey Pines.
He's
All right,
played
we're
well.
taking Vegas because
Vegas.
I'm not. Matt Wallace's reputation precedes him.
All right. Our last pick.
Sure.
Let's go. We're going to throw a little wrinkle in this one.
Oh boy.
Frankie Sappin.
Frankie. That's the answer. Frankie's
That's pretty
Frankie's going to be rookie of the year. He's a stud.
He is a stud.
Boom.
He's from Minnesota. He's half Minnesotan.
Yeah,
His,
his
my
kid's a
last
stud.
my last amateur tournament we were at the same tournament. That
And
for the
Minnesota State
record-
Am.
And how'd it go?
I think I beat him.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did.
Man.
I was third at Minnesota State.
How'd
Amateur
your
that
career
year.
go since then? You're complaining.
I took more of the.
Just kidding.
He's here talking to you
Yeah,
at a
that's
card
true.
table.
Yeah, fair.
That's,
Doesn't mean you're not a good golfer. Just
I took the teaching route.
yeah, that's good.
What's the
Good.
saying? Those who can't do teach. Is
Yeah,
that what it is?
fair.
Here's the deal. So I was the golf professional at Fargo Country Club.
Sure.
Saw Tom and Hoagie as a youth grow up.
Yeah, yeah.
Saw what he did to get himself to the level that he got, and then saw the numbers he was shooting.
Yeah.
And so our director of instruction, Chris Croach, and I beat it into his head. If you're not shooting 64 every day out
Yeah.
here at Fargo Country Club, and we see these guys come through Dakota's Tour every year, I would think twice about doing it or not doing it. And he took that literally.
Yeah.
I got my
Yeah.
college golf
It's a
in.
good-
I
yeah.
traveled around. Now
Yeah.
I got to start paying for golf. It's
Yeah,
like,
fair
I don't
enough.
know.
I know.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But
Well, we appreciate you
Of
taking
course.
some time.
Thanks for having me,
Ryan.
guys.
And I tell you, just congratulations on your success.
Thank you.
And what seems grounded? You seem grounded.
I mean, if I'm not grounded, we've lost the plot. So yeah.
Hey, how did this Dunning thing happen? So you got people
Yeah,
coming to you?
so-
Just real quick. Just
Yeah.
curious.
Anne Marie, who's VP of marketing, has been a longtime follower, is a golf nerd. She's been in golf her entire life. She worked at Golf Magazine or Golf Digest, one of those before Dunning. Yeah, she's been a longtime follower. And I went out on my own. She reached out, said, "Hey, can we help you?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah." I mean, yeah.
yes,
And
I could use it.
genuinely awesome clothes. Like,
Yeah.
I said this all the time. I've turned down money from mini tours, other companies. I really try my best to have any sponsors be products that I love. Like I genuinely love. It's insane that people pay me to wear their clothes. Insane. That's truly mind-boggling. It's that's wild stuff to say out loud.
we're not even getting paid, and we say it's good stuff. So
It's
that's
amazing.
Like,
This is-
it's that you brought it back from the show one year. I think I got a pair of pants or something like that.
I did.
It was like that's good stuff.
I was
It
on
is- it's
Dunning
great.
years ago.
it's great
Years
stuff.
ago.
It's great stuff. Thanks,
congrats.
guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for joining
so
us.
much.
So-
Of course.
There you have it, Ryan French. Monday Q Info, a case of the golf one. Go ahead, give him a follow. I mean, some of the best stories you're going to find on Twitter, on X, and just really kind of diving deep into the world of golf, but it's all good, feel good stories. He does great work. So thanks to him for joining, and thank you for joining us. We'll catch you next time. Welcome back to another episode of another round at Sweet Shots. Once again, I was going to say demo day, but it's not demo day. It's a PGA show in Orlando, Florida. We're joined by our next guest, Travis Bryant, like Kobe Bryant, he says, but not Travis Bryant. He's a golfer.
Yeah, no relation.
No relation.
He's a lot taller than me. So
How are you at basketball?
probably not very good.
Probably not very good. Yeah, that's as golfers, I usually keep the ball not moving and on the ground.
Yep.
That's kind of how that works. So, Travis, thanks for joining us. Travis, you're first and foremost, you're a veteran, so thank you for your service and doing that. What branch did you serve?
Army.
Yep. Very good. I went to school for criminal justice, so a couple of my buddies went into the Army. He was not special forces. What was he doing? Forward intel or something like that.
Okay.
But
Awesome.
really cool stuff. So thank you for doing that. But
What years? How long ago? Just curious.
I joined in 2017. Got out November of 22. So we're just over 2 years out. So I was in a little over 5 years. Yep.
And your love for golf, was that before going into the Army, or was it something?
So I've been golfing. I probably started when I was like 3 or 4 years old, hitting a ball in a yard. My dad introduced it to me, and then actually my dad was in the Army. Somebody introduced golf to him while he was in the Army.
Oh, great.
Which is all pretty cool stuff. But I've been playing since then. Never really got any formal lessons. Played in junior golf as much as I could. My high school didn't really have a team. Didn't go to college. I thought I was a lot better than I really was at that time. So I was like, let's go play professional golf. It's not that hard. And that is not true at all. It's extremely difficult and extremely expensive. And I'm sure Ryan touched on that. But I think the biggest thing about back then, other than the money side of things, was mentally I was not in the right headspace to be out there on a golf course doing that kind of stuff. Like I just perspective of life, maturity level, temper, making wise decisions, stuff like that. I didn't have that. And then things weren't going so hot. And I was like, you know what? Let's do what Dad did. Let's go jump out of airplanes and travel the world and do Army stuff. And that's what I ended up doing. And I played golf as much as I could through the Army. It was funny. I mean, it's kind of funny to me. Every time I would kind of I'd get down the scratch, and then we would deploy, and then I'd come back and I'd be like a 4 or 5 handicap. I'd shoot like 82 or something, and then a 75, and then I'd get it back down to where I'm shooting under par, and then we'd deploy, or we'd go do a training exercise, and then it'd all go away again.
So you're like in the barracks doing like some practice swings, just some phantom swings, or just trying to do anything to keep it fresh?
I remember we were in Louisiana doing some training. We're out there for like a month and a half, and I'm out there swinging a broomstick just to stay loose. Like
it's in everyone, right? Like you just gotta every once in a while you just find an object that's kind of like a length of a golf club.
Yeah,
you just make some swings.
Yeah,
that's all you need.
Well, back in the day, didn't guys who were serving actually be on, like they had golf teams? Like I know a mentor of mine, PGA professional Larry Murphy. He was in the Navy, and he was on their base. The Navy had a team, and it was like super competitive.
Yeah. So our base, I was at Fort Bragg in North Carolina, which is right next to Pinehurst. Yeah. Conveniently. So that was as good as it could have gotten for being in the Army in comparison to where good golf is. Right. But so our installation had like a Army golf team, and we had like a Ryder Cup format match every year against the Marines at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina. So like one year we would go to them, and then the next year they would come to us. We had that going. And then there's the all Army golf team. I guess back in the day it used to be like a full-time gig.
Well, that's what Larry. That's what his deal is. Like he did not do the regular duties. He was going to play golf.
Yeah. They handpicked him play golf. You're going to work, do some mailroom stuff.
Yeah. Is that what it was?
Is that what they called it? Yeah. But yeah, they have an all Army thing now, and you go try out, and then I got my commander's signature for it twice, and those with 2 different commanders where I was approved to go do it, and then immediately we deployed. So I missed out on that, and then you have to have 2 years retention left in your like time in service to be eligible for it. And then when I came back from that last deployment, I didn't have enough time left, so that was kind of it. So,
so you missed the window just via deployment and all that, but
it's all right.
It worked out. So now you get out of it and you jump back into professional golf.
Yes.
I mean, now it's mainly Monday qualifiers.
Yep.
and anything else we can get in
Yeah.
with the goal of, I mean, like we talked about with Ryan, goal of playing PGA Tour level stuff.
PGA,
right?
I mean, I just want to there's a few things and I think this helps me a lot more than other people. I see a lot of guys that I play against. They think they have to play golf. They think they have to be successful at golf. They don't have another option. And I think with my experience in the military and just where I'm at and the benefits that I've gotten from what I've done, I'm able to tell myself now that I don't have to play golf.
Mhm.
There are other things in life that are satisfying and that will make me happy and things that I am good at. That right there makes me play better golf. Like that helps
Yeah.
me.
Just kind of the ease of
I
just
don't-
going out and playing.
because I'm in that. This is what I didn't have prior to the Army. It's just a good perspective on how I look at things. We're playing a giant game.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
and I'm comparing like with my experiences in the Army and deployments and all the things that I saw and things that I did and the things that I hear people with the guys that I play with that are also veterans is like it's a game. Like we're outdoors. We're having a good time. Like this is as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Like, in comparison. So
That's why I love the word perspective. That's what, before you said that word, that's what I was thinking
Yeah.
about. You know, unfortunately, the way the game of golf professionally to get to those ranks, you miss that putt on 18, dinner tastes different than it did
I've
if you
had
made
one
that
of
putt.
those.
Yeah. You know, so, and that's part of it. But a bigger picture perspective, you know that there are joys, there's life
100%.
outside of golf, and sometimes we just get in that tunnel in golf, and that's when the game is affected.
Yeah.
And some guys maybe can turn that into something positive, but it's really hard.
It's hard. It's hard when you put that much. I mean, and I did it in college playing collegiately. It was, this putt on 18 means I'm traveling or not traveling.
Yep.
And getting out. I mean, obviously, I didn't go through military training to figure it out. I was fortunate. I got out of golf and I got into the PGA program.
Yep.
And all of a sudden I had a stable job, and this golf tournament I'm going to doesn't mean that, I'm not traveling next week. I got another one I'm signed up for, and you know what? 72 is doing all right. I'm
not too
even
bad.
par for a guy that's not playing much golf right now. It's all right. I still have the competitive drive. I want to go, beat everybody that's out there.
Yeah.
If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Like you said, it's a game. It's not the end all be all when you're out there.
Pretty
So,
close, though. It's pretty
it's
close.
pretty close. You
But
get the
then
right
at the same
situation.
At the same time, you still want to be really competitive.
Yeah.
And be extremely.
It's a
good at
delicate
it. But,
line, right?
yeah,
You got to
yeah,
find
there's-
where that line of I'm going to beat everybody here, no holds bar.
Yeah.
And you know what? If things don't go my way, there's always tomorrow.
Yep.
There's another day.
I always call it. It's just a good game of whack-a-mole. Like there's a certain
Fact.
balance to it where you just once you find that sweet spot, it's a pretty happy place to be. You can play
Absolutely.
some good golf.
So I have a question. You're wearing the logo,
Yeah.
the VGA logo.
Yeah, it's right across from us.
Can you tell a little bit about VGA and what
Yeah, of course.
that's all about?
So the Veteran Golfers Association, I think they're at 10 years now, and they are 30,000 strong.
Wow.
Members all across the country and a few other territories of the United States. And I think they also just started in Australia, if I'm
great.
not mistaken. And they got a Puerto Rico section as well. But they hold golf tournaments all year long, all around the country. And you can be a veteran, a family member, or you can be or active duty. There you go.
Okay.
To be eligible to play in these events, it's $76 for a year-long membership, and it gives you access to all these events. You do pay when you show up to play golf, because they're playing all kinds of golf courses. Like, I can say it now. This year's national championship is being held at Olympia Fields in
Wow,
Chicago.
great.
So, so that's the national championship. There are flighted divisions, and there is also an A flight, which is not handicapped. So they have those handicapped. They have a wounded flight for Purple Heart recipients. It's all really good. But the whole purpose of the VGA is to kind of enrich the lives of veterans through the game of golf and their families. And that's exactly what it's done for me. Like I'm involved with the VGA for a lot of different reasons, but one, I love the people. Those are my people. Those are the guys that I can hang out with and say whatever I want, and we all understand we're on the same level. When it comes to experiences, maybe they've gone through something differently, and I know how to, or I have somebody I can go talk to, which is pretty cool, and vice versa. but then it's also just like I think the biggest thing is like when you get out of the military, you kind of lose accountability sometimes, where it's like you were a very important piece of a team every single day. Like you do not show up late, and if you're late, people are wondering where you are. And then you have the accountability of like, did you shave? Are you working out? And like did you drink water? All that kind of stuff. And then you get out and nobody cares.
What happened? Yeah.
With the VGA, that is not the case. Somebody cares. There are people across the entire country right now. I can go stay on their couch when I go to a golf tournament, or they want to come out and carry the bag for me.
That's cool.
That's really
there's
cool.
people all over the place. I run into them all the time. It's just the coolest thing ever. It's an amazing organization based out of Pinehurst, which is also very convenient. That's where I am. Plus small circles there. But
what a great opportunity. And I know between Mark, myself, and our other golf professional back in Fargo is, we started a PGA Hope program. Yeah. And one of our guys, was it Eric? Eric. He started a VGA up in North Dakota, right?
He's hosted a few tournaments. And they found some nice golf courses to play too. Yeah. I mean, so he's really trying to get that up and running. So we had heard of the VGA, and it has a presence even up in North Dakota.
It's getting big.
Not so much right now. They're not playing much golf.
No.
Yeah, I mean, people are coming down to Florida thinking it's going to be better, and it's really not.
Yeah, we did get to play some golf yesterday, but that was we had to go about an hour and a half north of here, so there wasn't raining there. But I had to keep telling myself not to complain when I was sending messages back, because everyone I was talking to was -20, and it's like 48 degrees. So it's like, crazy. Well. It could be worse.
It most definitely could be worse.
It could be a lot worse.
So I have a question. Do you have any idea how many veterans are actively playing PGA Tour, Korn Ferry Tour?
PGA Tour, I can think about it very quickly and give you a rough estimate. And I'll kind of explain while I think. I can look back and see that like Vietnam era and draft era, there were a lot lot out there at that time.
Orville Moody, I think, was nicknamed the General or something.
Omar Aresti, like guys like that. Like who else is? I can't think of anybody else right now. But like during that area, there were a lot. Currently, right now, all I can think of is some Air Force Academy guys.
I've never thought about it.
Kyle Westmoreland.
Tom
Whitney. Who? Yeah, Tom Whitney.
Yep.
I can't think of anybody else, but they were Air Force Academy officers that I don't know.
Got out and played some golf. Played some dang good golf.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, they're also 6'4". Yep. Like the places I could be if I was 5 inches taller.
Preaching to the choir, right?
7 inches taller.
Yep. We had my freshman year. Well, so my time at North Dakota State was my freshman year. We brought in myself and two others, and one of our other ones, Van Holmgren, who's had some success on.
I did a Monday qualifier with him. It might have been my first Monday ever.
Is that right?
Him,
yeah. So Van Holmgren,
he's huge,
6'8". Yeah, we had
5'9".
My freshman year, we got on a plane. I was the shortest one on our team. I'm 5'10".
Okay.
Roster 5'11", 5'10" real life. But we were getting on a plane, small charter plane from Fargo to Minneapolis. There, 5 of us got on the plane.
Yeah.
I was the shortest one. Van Holmgren at 6'8", his brother Will at 6'3", Nick Myrie is near 6'3", 6'4", and Andrew Iselson's over 6 foot. I sit down. I drew the short straw. I'm sitting next to a stranger. He looked at us and goes, "So who are you guys playing in basketball this week?"
Yeah,
I'm like, I mean, that's a great question. But if 5 of us got on this plane, we're going to be pretty tired by the end of that game.
I mean, he was a great guy too. I think it was Georgia Southern. I was playing a Monday qualifier for Club Car Korn Ferry event in Savannah. That might have been 2022. So that was 2023 maybe. Yeah, that was probably 6 months after I got out of the Army. I was playing in that event, and I remember walking up to the first tee because like I was just getting into it, so like I wasn't recognizing names yet.
Yeah,
and it's him and this other guy, and I look, and then I think my wife was on the bag.
You just keep going up.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my god, and the other guy ended up just like walking off the course after 11 holes. So it was just me and him for the rest of it. Like he took my scorecard with him too. Like it was kind of he just left. He hit his ball towards the parking lot, and I guess that's where his truck was. So he just didn't come back.
Got in and
But Van Holmgren, he was great. I mean, we had a good time. Like neither of us made it. Like I think we were both maybe 2 or 3 shots off. We didn't do bad, but for a Monday, you got to do better than good.
Isn't that a small world?
It is.
We just met you.
Yeah.
talking golf, and you've played a Monday qualifier with Van Holmgren.
I mean, if you play mini tours and Mondays, if you consistently do that for a year,
Get to know some guys.
you're gonna know the same faces, you're gonna know the same names, and then you're gonna watch a few of those names every single year not show up in the field anymore, and they quit. And then you're gonna see a bunch of names not show up anymore, and they're on Corn Ferry or
They made
PGA
it.
Tour.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, and you hope to be in the second group. That keeps going
most
on,
definitely.
right?
I'm not stopping. This,
Well, another
I love
fan
it.
who and my phone's recording, so I don't have the picture. I can show it to you later.
Yeah.
But so I came in freshman year. Then next year, the freshman class, I came in there. We had Van Holmgren was 6'8", and Nate DeZiel, shout out Nate, is 5'6".
Oh boy.
So the dichotomy that we had on our golf team, we had the tallest guy in the Summit League, and we had the shortest guy in the Summit
That's
League.
awesome.
And
You
Nate
guys-
DeZiel, he's a Summit League champion. He's an individual
He's
champion.
a player.
So
You guys were a good team. They won the Outer Banks event.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with that event. Forget who hosted that
ODU, Old Dominion.
in North Carolina.
okay.
You know, it's a legit event. I
Yeah.
think there's been some tour guys that have medaled there, but their team picture at that championship, you got Van standing next to Nate.
Looked like a mountain range
Yeah.
with how many
Yeah,
different
you
sized
can't really
peaks.
crop that photo.
Isn't that great
so
about
much.
golf, though? I
We
mean,
always-
you got all different body
Everybody can
styles.
play.
That,
Everybody
yep.
can play.
We always
Yep.
fought to get away from Van because
Yeah.
nobody wanted to stand next to Van because he's so tall, you know. So
So what's next for you in your professional journey? What's your roadmap look like?
So I mean, I love what I'm doing, but I want to do more. Especially I think I'm itching a little bit just because it's off season. Things are kind of dead. But I mean, Mondays and mini tours are going to pretty much fill up my schedule this year. A little bit of media stuff. I've been involved with Dunning, an apparel company, for about a year now, and have done amazing things with them, and they've been really good to me. So I'm sure we'll have some more media stuff going on through them. But I also love the business side of things, and quite honestly, like, I'm looking around this entire show, and I'm not, those names that I just talked about that I see every single week at Mondays and mini tours, they're not here, and I don't know why. Because because I'm sure Ryan touched on the money side of things. If you want sponsors,
make some connections.
you should be here.
Yes,
Like
network.
you have to be here. This
There's
is
good
your
point.
opportunity.
people. Yeah,
And
that
I've
is great.
just like last year I was here. Last year was my first year. This is my second year here. Just like last year, this year I've made those connections already, and like we got follow-up meetings scheduled for next week,
It
and
opens
they're
up a
like,
lot
we
of
want
doors.
to do this, and like I wouldn't say I'm big on social media. It's hard to compare myself to what big is now, but like I'm pretty well established on social media. I enjoy it. It breaks up the monotony of practice. But it's also like these VGA guys want to follow me. They want to support me. I have family and friends
Pretty cool.
and people that I run into that want to support me and follow me and see what's going on. And I mean, you see it with these guys on the PGA Tour, and you see it at a lower level too, not talked about so much. But like, you can make a lot of money off the golf course. Like, it doesn't all
Absolutely.
have to be making cuts. Like, there's other ways to go about this, especially with how competitive it is. Like, I think there's so many people that could replace every single name on the leaderboard on the PGA Tour, and the scores are not going to change.
Yeah. There's the level
like,
of talent is so deep.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But with that, like, what makes me special? What makes you special? Like, you have 500 kids graduate college. What makes you better than the other 499? Nothing. You all went to college. Cool.
Yeah.
That's about it. What else do you have to offer? It's like you need like the military. That makes me a little bit unique. That helps me a lot. Social media is another thing that you're going to need to have. Like, that's just what things are turning into.
Yeah.
So, but to really get back to that was a very long rant. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of mini tour stuff. I've focused in this off season a lot more on my body and taking care of myself. The Army kind of beat me up a little bit, or I beat myself up during that time. So taking care of my body a little bit better, and I think I just got to go do it, because these last 2 years have been. I think I'm caught up with all these kids that went to college for 4 years or 5 years with a coach and all that. So there's a lot of conversations I never had with a coach
Sure.
or a teammate or whatever it might be. I figured it out kind of all on my own. So I think I'm finally caught up. So this year I got a great feeling about it. I mean,
That's great.
Somehow it's gotten easier. Like, when I think it's done getting easier,
There's another door.
it's easier.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude,
That's the way you want it to be,
like,
right? You don't
everybody's-
want to go the other way.
yeah, no, yeah, most definitely. So I mean,
Good for you.
I'm having, and at the end of the day, like we touched on earlier, it's like I'm having fun. I'm happy. Like that helps everything. So
Well, hopefully you're not looking for a place to play, but there is a tour. I mentioned it before we started, the Dakotas tour.
Yeah.
It really starts sometime in late June, goes through. We're the final event at the end of August.
Okay.
There's guys on tour that have come through that tour.
Yeah.
That
Zach
have made
Johnson, Tom
Zach
Hoagie.
Johnson.
Yeah.
For the
Alistair
record, I did
Doherty.
beat Zach Johnson one year in the North Dakota Open, for the record. But we were talking about Alistair Doherty.
Yep.
You know, he played probably in 2021, 22, 23. And now look where he's at. I mean, Tom Hoagie won our event probably in 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
So the guys have come through. So if you're looking for a place to play, even if you come in and I'll use the word cherry pick a few events.
Yeah.
If you come to Fargo, you got a place to stay. Between the two of us, we put you up.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I love traveling. I love playing golf. That sounds awesome.
And it's smart to get up north in the summer months.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be the
Well,
time
yeah,
to
most
get there.
definitely. Yeah, especially August. Like
Yeah.
anywhere. Yeah, it is hot in Pinehurst.
Well, we're talking schedule right now, but is there what used to be Canadian tour the week after our event in Minnesota?
Yeah,
still?
Craigan's. Yeah, that was
Do they
the
do a Monday
legacy
qualifier?
course. Yep.
Because you did
Some
the
of those-
Monday
yeah, some of
qualifier
those
last
still
year.
do
I did the
Mondays.
section qualifier. Yeah, I could have
Okay.
done the Monday. I didn't get to it.
So
But
anyways,
yeah.
we're planning your schedule for you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We'll
Up
get you
north,
set
there's
up.
your
Hired.
northern tour right there.
You're both hired.
So. Perfect. So, Travis, thank you very much for taking the time to get
Yeah, of
on with
course.
us and give it a little bit. We talked with Ryan earlier. Give a little bit of insight of what it's like on the mini tour side,
Yeah.
and the great stuff you're doing with the Veteran Golf Association, and as a veteran, bringing that to light and seeing all that. It's great to see what you guys are doing, and another plug for Dunning. That's good stuff going on over there as well.
They're
So.
crushing it. And I'm having a lot of fun with them. They're doing really well.
Yeah.
So
That's
Great
great.
stuff.
And thanks again. I mean, people tell you all the
Yeah.
time, thanks for your service. But
Thank you.
we really do appreciate what you've done and the perspective you're bringing to golf.
Thank you.
And that's
Thank you so much.
that's a message. It's a great message. You're touching people, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope what I say can touch somebody, resonate with them, whatever it can be. But I think I always ask myself, why am I playing golf? Like, because I could be doing anything. And it's one, because I feel like I should be, because I'm okay at it. It makes me happy, but I also see what it does for the other veterans and other people, and the joy that they get out of it, and it gets them out of the house, and they don't isolate and all that kind of stuff. And
it is great. It is great to see. PGA Hope's doing great
Yeah,
stuff.
same.
Veteran Golf
Yeah.
Association doing great stuff. So if people out there, if they know a veteran and they're not aware of this association of PGA Hope, VGA, I mean, introduce them. If you're listening to this, get out. Sweet Shots, we're doing a lot of great stuff. We've got 3 sessions coming out. And we're
Registration is open. If you go to our website, you
It's
can
open.
register for a PGA Hope session.
Awesome.
They
So-
will fill up quick. So
They
by
always
the
do.
time you're listening to this, I hope it's still open. How about VGA? If people are interested in finding out more about that, what do they do?
Yeah, so you can go to, I believe it's VGAgolf.org.
helps. So right
Yeah,
down
the
there.
sign's right there. So that's perfect. I didn't want to say it wrong. So yeah, VGAgolf.org. And then if you need any help, like even if you're active on Facebook, you can get on the Veteran Golfers Association Facebook page. You can get right on there and ask whatever questions you need. There's thousands of people on that page that will answer your question or get you in contact with somebody that can help you, whether it be a state director, regional director, or just a new friend. So
Wonderful.
yeah,
Wonderful. There you have it. There's Travis Bryant, like
Awesome.
the basketball player, but he's a golfer. So keep an eye. Travis, is there a place people can follow you along, be it social media? or-
Yeah, Travis Bryant Golf.
Travis Bryant Golf.
Mostly active on Instagram.
There you have
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So give him a follow and follow along his journey, and hopefully we see you keep making it all the way to the top.
Yeah, let's
we'll
do
be
it.
pulling for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Travis. There you have it. Travis Bryant, one more time. What a great story. We're going to keep following along for sure, but you never know what happens at the PGA Show. So it's great. It's great to be here. It's great to have the opportunity to get down and sit down and talk with people like Ryan, people like Travis, and we got more coming your way. And we'll catch you next time.